So you want to be a millionaire? Perfect. I'm going to show you how you can become a millionaire with a proven system and a strategy that has worked time and time again. And that is where the wealth pyramid comes into play. Now, the wealth pyramid is broken down into 3 areas. First one is going to be reality, perspective. Second one's going to be a habit. What sort of habit? How do you need to go about the actual strategy? And then third is you got to use a certain tool out there. But the good news there, that's totally free, and it's a tool that's going to keep you on track. So let's first just start off with the bottom part of this. And this is all about reality. And why is reality, or in other words, perspective, why is that at the bottom? Well, nothing else works if you don't have the right perspective. What do I mean? So if my perspective was going into this video wearing a shirt this tight and thinking that nobody in the comment section would make fun of me, I would be highly, highly distraught, disappointed, just what is going on when a bunch of people in the comment section would make fun of me, which is probably still going to happen. So that's why perspective matters. If you have the right perspective going into a situation, then yes, I realize at this point, I'm going to be made fun of. But you know what? Because I expect it, because that's my perspective, because that's my reality going in, I'm going to survive. I'm also going to get out of this shirt because, yes, it is way too tight. Now, I realize this is not going to be the most exciting thing to say, but it's one of those just unpleasant truths, and it is reality. It's going to give you the right perspective. But becoming a millionaire does not happen overnight. It doesn't happen next week. Now, if you're saying, but I want to, well, that is possible, but you better be having something up your sleeve. You better have some sort of solution to a massive problem out there that helps a whole bunch of people in a very quick amount of time. So I'm not going to say it is impossible to become a millionaire in a very fast amount of time, but odds are, unless you have, like I said, some sort of quote unquote $1 million idea, you know what? It is going to take time. And as long as you realize that going in, that it takes time to become a millionaire. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen next year. If you're on board with that, then you know what? You're going to have a good solid foundation of this pyramid, and you're going to have the right perspective. Your reality is going to be where it should. So point here, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. So as long as you're on board with that, then we can put the check mark there and move on to the next part. And the next part here is all about, like I said earlier, a habit. Because now that we have our reality in place, we need to make sure that we're putting reality into motion with a proper habit. And the habit has everything to do with pay to play. Now, what do I mean by pay to play? Well, first off, when I say play, I mean going to the movies, going to the bar, buying some Sour Patch Kids or whatever your favorite candy is. Sour Patch Kids for me. But just going out there and doing something that is not a necessity, that doesn't actually, money doesn't need to be spent on it. The biggest, defeater of the wealth pyramid is if you take the approach of, I can never have fun. I'm never going to be able to have fun. No. You can have fun. You can go out there and enjoy yourself as you work your way through, the ultimate goal of becoming a millionaire. But the habit you need to put into play is before you play, you need to first pay. And who are you paying? You are paying your future self. You are paying your future self the ability at an awesome vacation or vacations, cars, a nice house, but best yet, just peace of mind, making money while you sleep. That is who you're paying, your future self. You are putting a ball in motion that, yes, in the short term, you don't get to play maybe as much as you would like, but you get to go out there in the future and you're going to be much, better off and have yourself in a much better situation. So how does this actually work? Well, and this is what a lot of people get backwards. They go out there and they play first. So they go out, they have a good time with their money, they play, and then all of a sudden they get down here and, okay, well, I would like to actually be able to pay now. Pay what? Again, pay to start to build wealth. And then, I only have this amount of money left. Well, okay, and sometimes, I don't have any money at all. Are you sure you don't have any money, or did you just go out there and play a little bit too hard? Like I said, it's different for everybody, but the proper way to do it is you got to flip things around. you have to be up here and you need to first pay yourself. Now, what that number is, you'll hear all sorts of opinions. And actually, when we get to that next part, you're going to have a better idea. But just, kind of broad about, pay yourself 10%. So to keep the math really easy, if you made $1,000 in 1 month, then you would want to take $100 and put it into the wealth pyramid. But like I said, it varies, and $100 may be way too much. It may be not enough. But again, that's where the tool will come into play, which we'll talk about next. But after you pay whatever that is, we'll just go with 10%. Then you know what? You can go down there and play. Now, one note here. This does assume that, you're paying the needs, right? So you're paying your rent or your mortgage. You're paying to keep food on the table. You're paying, to keep the gas bill on. You're keeping to pay the lights on, that sort of stuff. So the needs, you pay those, you get those into place, and then all of a sudden, you got to pay to play. You got to pay before you play. And that's how that all works out. That is a habit that you must need to have in play, is that, you know what? Yeah, for now on, I'm going to first put money into the wealth pyramid, and then I'm going to go out there and have a good time. I'm going to go out there and enjoy life, because my thing here is I'm not sitting here and saying you can't enjoy life at all until you're a millionaire. No, go out there, enjoy life, but make sure you have your priorities in order, and you need to be putting money in the wealth pyramid before you go and start to have fun in life. And then the final part, and this is the very, very, what's the right word? Very beneficial, very time saving, is right here we have a tool. And this tool is 100% free. In fact, I'm going to go to my desktop and I'll show you kind of how to work through it and where you can find it and all of that. But this tool is going to make sure that you're going about this the right way. It works with both of these. It's going to help out in making sure that things are actually being realistic in the sense of, well, how long is it going to take me to become a millionaire? Is that if I kind of do this rather than that, is that going to speed things up? So it's going to help shape reality, but it's also going to help with the habit. Like I said over here, maybe you decide, I want to do a little bit more than 10%, because if I do 10%, then I'm going to become a millionaire that much quicker. Or you're saying, well, I don't really even need to do 10%, because if I do 5%, I'll still become a millionaire, and I'll still, become a millionaire in a time frame that I'm okay with. So that's what you have to figure out, and that's what this tool is going to help you with, is how to figure out, make sure you really do keep a firm, grasp on reality, and then make sure that your habit is, kind of as fine-tuned, as efficient as possible. So with that being said, let's go to my desktop and I'll walk you through this very, very powerful tool that all millionaires definitely understand and use. Welcome to my desktop here. So the tool we are going to be using, and maybe you've heard about this in school, but in my opinion, this is the topic that should be taught probably like half of your school years. You should just be learning about this exact topic, because not to sound cheesy or over dramatic, but this is a topic, this is a tool that will change your life. I mean, this is math that is real world math that really matters. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for learning how to find the hypotenuse of a triangle. I'm all for the quadratic formula. But as far as becoming a millionaire, as far as building wealth, taking control of your finances, putting together a wise plan, I'm not quite sure the hypotenuse of a triangle is going to accomplish that. But this tool definitely will. So the tool, and it's totally free, which is awesome, but a compound interest calculator. So you don't even have to do any math. It does all the math for you. Now, the one I like to use comes from investor.gov. You don't have to use this one, but as you'll see, I like it because it's very clean, it's very visual, and it just makes, I think, visualizing all this so much better. But if you're not quite sold on this one, then just run a search for compound interest calculator, and there's lots of other different choices out there. So the key thing here, and remember, the tool is helping us make sure that those other two parts of the pyramid stay within reason. So the bottom, we got to make sure that you do have realistic expectations. And this tool is going to let you know right away your realistic expectations or non-realistic expectations. And then second, you have to make sure that the pay to play, that you're actually going to be paying yourself enough Remember, who are you paying? Your future self. You want to make sure that you're paying your future self enough to make all this worthwhile and to make it happen. So let's go through this, a couple examples here, and just to show you how powerful it is, let's start off, and step one, this is why I love it. I mean, it literally just takes you step by step. So the initial investment. So this is the money that you start off with. And I'm going to take an extreme case. Let's just say that you're like, all right, well, I have $1. So you're going to start off with $1. So there you go. Initial investment, $1. The next is, okay, your monthly contribution, meaning how much are you going to add per month? Let's just say that you decide, you know what? I think I can set aside $1 per day. $1 per day, that's it. So we'll go average of 30 days per month. So that means that every month, your monthly contribution is going to be $30. Because if you're doing $1 per day times 30 days, that's $30. Now, the length of time, I cheated and I know what this is. So for this, we need to do it 71. So this is length of time, how long in years? So that 71 I just typed in there represents in years. So for 71 years. And the next part becomes, all right, well, step number 3, the interest rate. Meaning how much money do you think, how much interest do you believe you can generate? Now, this is not the interest that you pay, right? This is not like what you would pay for a car loan or a mortgage or anything like that. These are the good interest rates. These are the interest rates that are being paid to you. And this is the power of it all. So this is where you want to enter in the estimated interest rate. So what is, and this is the big question, what is the number that you should enter there? What is a reasonable estimated rate? So for this, I want to go and let's just assume that you want to use the stock market. I'm not saying you have to use the stock market. Maybe you want to use the real estate market or some other sort of a market or what have you to generate this interest rate. But for this, we're just going to use the stock market. So what I found here is just what is the average return? And there's lots of different numbers out there. So this is not any sort of written in blood type situation. But according to the studies and this is coming from NerdWallet, so they're a big site. But 10%. However, like I said, I do agree and acknowledge that some people could look at 10 and be like, no, that's not right because of this, that, and the other. So fine, let's err on the side of caution and say it's not 10%. Let's just call it 8% then. So let's go to 8% there, and like I said, we'll err on the side of, because other people are like, no, it's actually more than 10%, but let's just go with 8. So enter in 8 for step number 3, and then right here, that's all you have to do. We'll compound it annually, so nothing there. And then the final step, all you got to do is just hit that calculate button. And this is the crazy part here. So just to reiterate, you're starting with $1. You're adding $1 per day, which makes it $30 per month. You're going to wait for 71 years, and the interest rate being paid to you is 8%. So let's see how this all turns out. Let's hit calculate, and it moves down there, and check that out. Compound interest is a thing of beauty. You would then have over $1 million. Crazy. $1 a day. $1 a day. Yeah, Clay, but. What do you mean, but? But, Clay, 71 years? Are you kidding me? Good observation. And that's exactly what I mean and about how this tool is going to help safeguard your expectations. If you're sitting there saying, 71 years? That's way too long. You know what? I agree. So think about it. What is this now helping you do? It's helping you fine-tune your strategy. It's helping you realize, no, I don't want that. I need what? You need to pay yourself more before you play. So that's what I meant about how this tool is going to help make sure that you keep your expectations in line with reality, especially with the pay to play. So you're like, okay, well, no, I don't want to wait 71 years. All right, well, there's something you could do. Let's just say you start with $1, but let's just say that you want to do $2 every day, for example. So that means that this now becomes $60. So actually, we'll leave that at 60. And we'll leave that at 70. And let's say, all right, well, what about 60 or $60? I mean, how's that going to look for me in 50 years? And you can calculate. So all of a sudden now, all right, and you see what's going on here? Well, 50 years, that's not a millionaire. So it's going to force you to figure out. You just start playing with the number, and you're going to see exactly what you want. Let's just say you know what? No, I don't want to wait 50 years. What about 30 years? And let's say I start with $100, and then every month I put in $100. What's that going to do? And you're going to have to calculate again. So right there, 136. But again, that's only $100 per month. I mean, think about it. That's $25 per week. Setting aside $25 per week, that's good. You're doing something, but I think you're probably playing a little too much. You need to pay your future self more. And in order to do that, you just need to keep on playing around with these numbers. And you just change around. All right, if I start here, what about if I add in, let's go up to $500 monthly contribution. So you leave that at an interim. Let's see what this does. Well, there you go. Now you're making progress. So just $500 a month. So if you're making $50,000 per year, 10% of that, that would be $5,000, and $5,000 divided by 12 is, 416. So right there, that's right around 15% can get you up to $500. But what happens if you change that to 35 years? You're like, well, I don't know if I want it 30. If I want to be millionaire by the time I retire, maybe that's 35 years. So all you do here is now we're changing the years. And you calculate it. Well, there you go. By changing that, think about that. All I did was change it by 5 years. So 5 years and you're up over $1 million. Isn't that crazy? All I did, right there, that number, changed it by just 5 years, and that's all it took. But you're saying, no, I don't want to wait that long. That's fine. Let's take it back to 20 years. But you know what? You're like, well, Clay, I'm a baller. I'm ready to beast mode it. I'm starting with $1,000. And you know what? Because I'm a baller, let's go at $1,000 per month because I'm a beast. I'm driven. I want it in 20 years. So let's see what happens with this. So right there. All right. Well, I got to grind more. I got to be a baller. So let's actually change it up to $1,500 per month. So what is that going to do now? We're getting closer. Well, you know what? I kind of wanted it. I was going to buy this video game and this video game system. Well, actually, I was going to get 2 games and the system. But if I don't do that, then I could actually start with $1,500. So you know what? I'm just going to start with $1,500 instead. What does that do? So let's calculate. And you can see right there. All right, well, the key thing becomes, well, you know what? Let's just get this up to $2,000. Let's see what that does. And there you are. So you see how you just goof around with it. And that's going to make sure you keep your expectations in line with the reality. And it's going to tell you, are you paying yourself not enough? Maybe you're paying yourself too much. Maybe you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to make all that. That's great. I'm going to have $1 million in, let's just say 15 years. But that means I eat bread, water, and can't see my friends for the next 20 years. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for hustling and grinding. But you got to enjoy life too. So, from that point of view, maybe you figure out, oh, I'm probably paying myself too much. Do I really need to become a millionaire in 10 years? Now, for you, maybe like, yeah, I do. I'll eat bread, water, and not see my friends, have no Netflix, and just, grind, work all the time so I can become a millionaire in 10 years. And you can change these numbers to figure out exactly what those numbers would need to be. But like I said, that's going to be different for everybody. The point here being that this is what's going to set up your reality, set up your perspective on things to make sure that you are going into this with the right perspective. And then it's also going to make sure that you're not shortchanging yourself by not paying yourself enough, or like we just talked about, maybe you're paying yourself too much. So this tool is powerful. It is fantastic, and it will change your life. So you definitely got to use it, and it'll keep you on the straight and narrow. So let's go back to me at the chalkboard. Pretty awesome, huh? Pretty crazy to think that $1 a day can turn you into a millionaire. Now granted, it takes 70 years, so hopefully, and that's what I mean by this part right here, that's gonna tell you that your habit needs to be more than $1 a day, more than $30 a month, but just still, that amount, amazing how compounding interest actually works. So go through each of these steps, build that wealth pyramid, and get out there, turn yourself into a millionaire, because again, this is how you become a millionaire. Put the wealth pyramid into motion today. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.